Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would you please silently follow along while I say the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, Madam Supervisor. Trustee Bussino?
Here.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes, present.
Trustee Oliver?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
Here.
Treasurer Goodhue?
Here.
Clerk Posey here. Supervisor Dunn?
Here. Thank you. Next, we'll have the approval of agenda items with any corrections or additional items. Ms. Posey, are there any changes to the agenda?
Just the one proposed add-on under new business clerk's office, item number 25, hazard pay for November 3rd, 2020 election officials. That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Posey,
Support by Goodhue.
seconded by Ms. Goodhue to approve the agenda as presented with the one addition. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Supervisor. Clerk Posey, yes. Treasurer Goodhue?
Yes.
Trustee Bussino?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes, thank you. The approval of the bills is up for your pleasure. As usual, there are two bill runs. If you wish an item removed, please indicate so at this time.
Yes, Madam Chair, if there are no issues with either bill run, I move that we approve both bill runs.
Motion by Ms. Nevers,
Support by Goodhue.
seconded by Ms. Goodhue to authorize payment of both bill runs. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue?
Yes.
Trustee Bussino?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes, thank you.
Hey, you missed me, Christie. It's
Oh, I'm
Charlie.
sorry, Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Next, we have approval of the previous meeting minutes, and those would be from September the 23rd. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections to the minutes?
Madam Chair,
Madam
hearing none,
Chair-
Clerk Posey will make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes from September 23rd, 2020.
Motion by Ms. Posey,
Support by Smith.
supported by Ms. Smith to approve the minutes from September 23rd. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Clerk Posey, yes. Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Trustee Bussino?
Yes.
Trustee Nevers?
Yes.
Trustee Oliver?
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue?
Yes.
And Supervisor Dunn?
Yes, thank you. The consent agenda items, these are routine matters that come before you on a regular basis. If you wish an item removed to discuss, please indicate so at this time.
Madam Chair, this is Treasurer Goodhue. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items as presented.
Motion by Ms. Goodhue,
Support
Support
by
by-
Nevers.
seconded by Ms. Nevers?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, thank you. Before we go to public comments, I wish to tell you that we have received a letter from the Fair Housing Center of Metropolitan Detroit, and it will appear in its entirety in the minutes of the meeting. Now I will open this up to public comments, and this is on agenda and non-agenda items. Please state your name for the record and remember that you have a 3-minute time limit.
If you wish to speak, you can go ahead and raise your hand digitally by pressing *9 on your phone, or if you're using the Zoom app, you can just click the raise hand button. Right now, we have phone number ending in 8922. Go ahead. Phone number ending in 8922. You can go ahead. I think there may be a problem with this person. We can come back to him. Is there anybody else that would wish to speak? Go ahead and raise your hand. I'm not seeing anybody, Janet, except for this one phone number here. Phone number ending in 8922.
Excuse me, Ryan, this is Clerk Posey. I'm showing on the screen that phone number is muted.
Yes, I've been asking, pressing the unmute button, but nobody's talking.
Okay. Okay, just checking.
Thank you. We do have somebody else here, Gerald James. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, this is Gerald James, and I'm somewhat comfortable with understanding that the 8922 is the representative from AFSCME. I am the representative from MAPE, Michigan Association of Public Employees. Just wanted to take a moment. I understand that we're going to have a vote on opting out of or not PA 152. Just wanted to table a concern the unions have regarding the amount of time that we would be afforded to meet and confer or bargain over the change in healthcare cost prior to the opening of open enrollment, which I understand to be November 1. We were just recently notified here in September that it had not been voted on in June, and we are very concerned about the ability to properly bargain on behalf of the members, and also those members being able to make an informed decision on their health care with such a short time span between now and the open enrollment period. So we'd like to request, if the board did agree to not opt out of PA 152, that there's an extension in the open enrollment period to allow the unions ample time to bargain on behalf of their employees. But again, we would request, if we could, we'd like to table and request that the employer continue to opt out of PA 152, and therefore we'll continue the discussions we had pending on interest-based bargaining as it relates to healthcare for the upcoming healthcare cycle.
Okay, we have Julianne. Oh, no, we did. 8922, I see that you are speaking, but I cannot hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I'm Dennis Martin from AFSCME Council 25, representing Local 917, the department heads. I agree with the previous speaker that we feel it would be in the best interest for both the union and the township if the township opted out of Public Act 152 at this time, being that it's too late in this year to do any interest-based bargaining. And in early 2021, both parties can start negotiations on a new health insurance plan through the interest-based bargaining. Had this decision been made in June, as it always has been in the past, time would have been more conducive to bargaining. Again, we would request that the township opt out of Public 152 for 2021. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Julianne Kuzmano. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Frank Cusimano. Can you hear me? I'm using my wife's phone because my computer isn't logging on.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm making a public comment on agenda item 17. Oh, Frank Cusimano, 16188 Jenny Drive. Agenda item 17. I'm trying to, it's on the same issue that the members of the representatives of the collective bargaining agreement just spoke on. The question I have is, what would be the fiscal year impact cost to the township if the hard cap was adopted, or the 80-20 cost to the township, or the cost of the exemption? I will note that Section 5 of the Public Act 152 does indicate that any terms inconsistent with the act shall not be part of a collective bargaining agreement. And trying to understand why the AFSCME contract, for example, says that the payment for these benefits shall be made by the township, which seems to imply that it's 100%. That concludes my comments. Thank you.
Okay. I don't have any more hands at this time, Janet.
Very well. Thank you, Ryan. We will now go ahead with the public hearing. And this is a public hearing and resolution adoption for special assessment district for street lighting on Pinnacle Farms condominium. I will open the public hearing. It is 7:13. And Mr. Van Tiffelen, I believe you're there. Are there any questions for Mr. Van Tiffelen from the board? Hearing none, I would open this up to the public. If there's anyone out there that would like to speak on this issue, please follow the same procedure. Raise your hand. I don't see anyone. So I will close the public hearing. It is 7:14. And I am open to any motions.
Madam Chair, this is Treasurer Goodhue. I want to make a motion to pass the resolution adopting the street lighting special assessment district for Pinnacle Farms condominium.
Motion by Ms. Goodhue,
Supported by Smith.
seconded by Ms. Smith to adopt the resolution for street lighting for the special assessment district for Pinnacle Farms. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Sorry, yes, I'm sorry.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, thank you. Next, we have new business, and this is a Water and Sewer Department request for construction pay estimate number 8, sanitary sewer rehabilitation by FCIPP and SCIPP lining project. Now, Mr. Wanglin, are you present?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
Does the board have
Thank
any
you, Board.
questions for Mr. Wanglin? Hearing none, are there any motions?
Madam Chair, Clerk Posey will make a motion to authorize the supervisor to execute cost-sharing agreement for construction costs with Macomb County Department of Roads for sanitary sewer connections as part of the 23-mile road widening project in the amount of $13,085.72 and allow the Water and Sewer Department to proceed with performing the work under the agreement.
Motion by Ms. Posey.
Ms. Posey, I think you made a motion on the wrong thing. We were
I
on
did?
number 9. Yes.
Oh, you're right. I'm
Right.
sorry. Go ahead and strike that motion, Madam Chair.
Motion is by Ms. Posey. Who's seconding?
No,
Madam
that was
Chair,
the
I
wrong
was on
motion.
the wrong, I'm on the wrong page. Strike that motion, please.
What? Okay. Are there any motions?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. This is Treasurer Goodhue on the construction pay estimate number 8, the 2019 sanitary sewer rehabilitation by FCIPP and SCIPP lining project number 0249-0163 in the amount of $194,963.82.
Motion by Ms. Goodhue,
Supported by Nevers.
seconded by Ms. Nevers to approve the construction pay estimate number 8. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes,
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Board.
The engineering department is requesting authorization to proceed with design work for 22-mile over the Gloede drain water main relocation. Mr. Van Tifflin.
Yes, Madam Chairperson, board members. The Macomb County Department of Roads has recently informed us that they are in the process of putting together plans for the replacement of the bridge that is on 22 mile over the Gloede Drain. Gloede Drain crosses 22 mile, about a quarter mile west of Garfield. Unfortunately, the new bridge design would have the head wall of the bridge over the top of our existing water main on the north side of the road. So the water main needs to be relocated in order for them to build the bridge. Fortunately for us, the construction cost for the relocation of the water main can be rolled into the bridge project. However, their funding will not pay for the design and permitting cost. So we are before the board tonight requesting authorization to proceed with the design work so that we can get the permits and approvals that are necessary to relocate the water main and then turn the plans over to the Department of Roads. We're estimating that cost to be $13,060. We're recommending approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Van Tifflin?
Mr. Van Tifflin, this is Karen Goodhue. This is one of the bridges that's very important to replace, right? It's been in bad shape for a while.
Yeah, according to the Department of Roads, they submit a number of bridges, every year to this funding program, and this one scored high enough to get funding, which means it's a very good candidate, both traffic capacity wise and probably structurally.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I would like to make a motion to proceed with design work for 22 Mile Road over the Gloede water main relocation for $13,060.
motion by Ms. Nevers,
Support by
Support.
Goodhue.
seconded by Ms. Posey.
Ms.
To
Goodhue.
The design work as requested. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Oops.
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
yes,
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion is carried. Thank you. Next is requesting permission to execute cost-sharing agreement for construction costs with Macomb County Department of Roads for sanitary sewer connections as part of the 23 Mile Road Widening project. That would be from North Avenue to Card Road, and to proceed with the work under the agreement. Mr. Van Tifflin.
Yes, Madam Chairperson, board members. This section of 23 Mile Road is, they're preparing to start construction on it. There are a couple of septic fields that are in the way of the road improvements that need to be abandoned, and the homes connected to the sanitary sewer. The township and the county have worked together along with the water and sewer department to obtain bids from a contractor to actually physically get the work done. The Shelby Underground was the low bidder in that effort by the water and sewer department. They will be performing the restoration work themselves. So this will work a little bit different than the other work that we've done with the county, where the county is doing the work and the township is reimbursing the county. This will be in reverse. The county will be reimbursing the township because the township will take the lead on it. So with that, the county has prepared the cost sharing agreement. That is a 50-50 split between the county and the township. Township's portion is $13,085.72. We have reviewed the agreement and are recommending approval by the township board. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Van Tifflin?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Smith. I will make the motion to request the permission to execute cost sharing agreement for construction costs with the Macomb County Department of Roads and Sanitary Sewer connections as part of the 23 Mile Road Widening project, North Avenue to Card, and proceed with the work under the agreement of $13,085.72.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Second by Posey.
Or by Oliver.
motion by Ms. Posey to execute the cost sharing agreement for construction costs with Macomb County Department of Roads. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, just to be clear for the record, Madam Chair, Trustee Smith made the motion and Clerk Posey seconded it. I'll call the roll accordingly. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Trustee Bucino,
yes,
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, thank you. Next, we have a request to schedule a public hearing for street lighting special assessment district, the resolution for the enclave at Legacy Estates, and this is phase 3. Mr. Van Tifflin, are all the lots owned by the developer?
Yes, they are.
And you're asking for November 10th?
Actually, Madam Chair, because of the delay in the board meeting this week, we've missed our deadline to advertise for that November 10th meeting. So we are revising our request to the November 24th, 2020 board meeting.
What day was that again?
November 24th.
November 24th. Very good. Any questions on that from the board? Would someone make a motion?
Madam Chair, this is
Madam-
trustee. I'm sorry. Madam Chair, this is trustee Smith. I will make the motion to request to schedule a public hearing for street lighting, the resolution of Enclave Legacy Estates Phase Number 3 for November 24th, 2020.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Support by Goodhue.
one.
Take your pick.
I think I heard Ms. Nevers in there.
Yes.
Seconded by Ms. Nevers to approve the November 24th, 2020 date for this public hearing. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Nevers,
Yes.
trustee Bucino,
yes,
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
treasurer Goodhue,
Yes,
clerk Posey, yes, supervisor Dunn.
Yes, thank you. That motion carries. And number 13 is the same, I believe. Are you going to change the date on that one also, Mr. Van Tifflin?
Yes, to November 24th.
Okay. Anything else we should know about that?
Nope, this is a typical request by a developer to install streetlights. The developer owns all the properties.
Okay, all right. Then we need a motion.
Madam Chair, this is trustee Smith again. I will make that motion to request a scheduled public hearing for street lighting STAD resolution for Stillwater Crossing Site Condominiums Phase 2 for November 24th, 2020.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
support by Goodhue.
seconded by Ms. Goodhue to approve the November 24th, 2020 date for this public hearing. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Supervisor. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
treasurer Goodhue,
Yes,
trustee Bucino,
yes,
trustee Nevers,
Yes.
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
clerk Posey, yes, supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries again. Next, we have Human Resources, and they are requesting authorization to extend offer of employment for an election coordinator. Mr. Sordy.
Madam Chair and members of the board, this board authorized the Human Resources Department to recruit for a part-time election coordinator position. We received 4 applications for that position. 2 of the candidates were interviewed with the selection committee on September 14th. And after those interviews, the selection committee of the supervisor, clerk, Mr. Pierce, Mickey Todd, Megan Young are recommending Tracy Papke for hiring. So with that, I ask for a motion to approve Tracy Papke for hire contingent upon successful completion of post-offer requirements. And I can answer any questions for you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sordy?
Madam Chair, this is trustee Smith. I will make the motion to authorize to extend the offer of employment for election coordinator part-time to Tracy Papke.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Clerk Posey, support.
seconded by Clerk Posey to extend the offer of employment for the election coordinator contingent on successful completion of post-offer requirements. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
clerk Posey, yes, trustee Bucino,
yes,
trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
yes,
and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Next, we have authorization to extend offer of employment for a building inspector. Mr. Sordy.
Madam Chair, if you could give me a second, I've got something coming down the street here. Just 1 second so you can hear me.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Okay, the Board of Trustees authorized the Human Resources Director recruit for building inspector. We received 15 applications for the position. 8 candidates were invited to interview with the selection committee on September 15th and 18th. The board did approve a candidate for the position on September 23rd, but that candidate did not complete the pre-hire process. With that, the selection committee of Janet Dunn, Joe Maples, and Michael Badamo are recommending Giuseppe Balsamo for hire. So with that, a motion to approve Giuseppe Balsamo for the position of building inspector, contingent upon successful completion of post-offer requirements.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Sordy?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Smith. I will make the motion to authorize to extend offer of employment for building inspector to Giuseppe, Balsamo. I'm sorry, I thought I said his name wrong.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
supported
Supported by Nevers.
seconded by Ms. Nevers to extend the offer of employment for building inspector contingent on successful completion of post-offer requirements. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bussino,
yes,
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
yes,
Clerk Posey, yes, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. That motion carries. Next is the approval of a plan review analyst position. This is a new position. And Mr. Sordy, would you tell us a little about this, please?
Madam Chair and members of the board, the planning director has evaluated the structure and organization of the planning department. He believes that there's a need for a new position with the department in order to properly serve the township. He's worked with the Human Resources Department to develop the proposed plan review analyst position description. The position is not currently covered under a collective bargaining agreement and will be negotiated accordingly. With that, I ask for approval of the position of the plan review analyst position and can certainly answer any more questions that you may have.
Very well. Any questions for Mr. Sordy about this position?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Mr. Sordy, this is, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Oliver.
Go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Mr. Sordy, I failed to ask the question at the department head meeting. Currently, there's a vacancy, and I believe it's planning supervisor. Is that correct?
Yes,
In that department?
yes.
Okay. So I was just, do you have, Mr. Sordy, do you have any idea if there's any intention on filling that position? Or is this kind of replacing that?
In my understanding, well, it's not going to replace it because there's different job requirements. But I understand from Mr. Box that this there would be a reorganization of the department that would include that. And that's what I would include in the negotiations with the union.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with a question?
well, Mr. Sordy, just Trustee Oliver, just on a follow-up on that. So we don't have what union this person's going to be in yet.
That's correct.
Mr. Bach, has he indicated what union, as by telling you give you a sample of what this person might be doing?
Yeah, it was included in your board package. There's a complete proposed job description.
Okay, and what I read was that this person's gonna be kind of doing a little bit of directional, where they might be giving people assignments. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So what union would that be?
Well, it depends how both the township and both unions interpret the filing requirements with Merck. We don't get to just make that decision on our own.
Got it. Do you have was there a wage compensation set for this person?
No, that has to be negotiated with the union as well, since it's a new position.
Okay. So and the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I know they really need help there. Because there is just so much going on with the new master plan. Could you give us a timeline of when we'd be out to bid, or not out to bid, out to post a job, if everything went smooth?
I don't see any reason why it can't be wrapped up immediately. There's kind of a short deadline for the immediate next meeting, but we can certainly try for it. I've made a promise that I'll be on the phone first thing in the morning to get it started upon your approval.
Good. I appreciate that, because I know they really need help there, and there's just so much stuff going on. So whatever you can to expedite it. Thank you. No more questions.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair, this is Nevers. I'll make the motion to approve the plan review analyst position.
Motion by Ms. Nevers,
Support by Mr. Oliver.
supported by Mr. Oliver, to approve the position of plan review analyst. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Supervisor. Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
yes,
Clerk Posey, yes, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Next, we have Public Act 152 resolution. Mr. Assorti.
Madam Chair, members of the board, I know as this board is all well aware, Public Act 152 regarding healthcare benefits was passed by the state legislature on September 24th, 2001. The act contains options for compliance that we go over each year. One of those is the township's exempting itself from the requirements of the act by an annual 2/3 majority vote. I did point out in the board packet that if the board does not choose to opt out, that there's requirements in 3 of the collective bargaining agreements, the 3 that we provide healthcare benefits, that we reopen negotiations relative to those healthcare benefits in those agreements. In the past few years, as indicated by the union, these decisions have been made under the General Appropriations Act. This year with COVID-19, the numbers that we received for the estimate and the cost were moved from a 120-day window to a 90-day window. As soon as we received that information, preliminary information, we communicated with the unions per our requirements, and we, for a short period of time, about a week, we did our normal process where our vendor tries to assist us with making modifications to drop not the benefits, but to drop our actual costs. Those were unsuccessful this year. I've outlined over the course of this past year in a few memos to the board relative to what those requirements are. I've attached a resolution based on comments I've received from the board to opt out of Public Act 152. And attached resolution that it's presented is that resolution that's recommended by the Michigan Department of Treasury. So if you, what's proposed is a resolution to adopt by 2/3 majority vote, opting out of Public Act 152 for the 2021 benefit year.
Thank you. Any questions from the board members?
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Trustee Busnell. I actually have some comments and a question for Mr. Sorty, if you'll give me this time. I am appreciative as a public employee, a public school employee, a dues-paying union employee who has been impacted for 8 years by PA 152, that this issue was brought to the attention of the public and the board in a unique way. Unique in the fact that has been mentioned, it was not buried in the budget as it has been in years past. We're finally having public visible discourse in PA 152. I hope this sets a precedent for future boards. But I do want to say that hundreds, maybe thousands of Macomb Township residents and their family members have had to cut back on that meal out, an extra night at the hotel in their favorite family vacation spot, or decline their children's orthodontics option because their share of healthcare cost under PA 152 went from 0 to 5,000, 6,000, even 7,000 because their public employer decided to enact provisions of PA 152. My family, it was affected in that way. So here's my question before I have some further questions about this agenda item. Mr. Sorty, can you name a neighboring local municipality or school district that has decided to opt out of PA 152?
There's none that I'm aware of.
Okay, so that's what I thought, because when I talk to people that I'm in unions with, that I really try to get a context of this, of what we're doing in Macomb Township versus neighboring municipalities. Again, something that's affected my family. It's a very, very tough topic with COVID. I'm not trying to be not empathetic on this, and to be honest, I don't know how I'm going to vote on this at this second, but I am glad that this has been brought out of the General Appropriations Act, because I could be wrong, but when this has been presented to us, it's never been presented in a preliminary budget, but it's been presented on the night of the vote, or sometimes after the night of the vote. But I do have to ask you a question about the way you presented this in your agenda item. I do want to ask something about, you said if the township does not exempt itself, as indicated above, 3 of the collective bargaining agreements with union employees require the township to reopen negotiations relative to health care benefits. In respect to the union leaders who I appreciate they came and talked, Dennis Martin, Gerald James. Again, I'm a union paying employee. Can you tell me what part of the act actually states that those agreements would have to be reopened up? Where does that say that in the act?
So it doesn't say it in the act. We have in our agreement with the IAFF, who has now indicated that they're willing to participate with us in interest-based bargaining as well, in the MAF agreement and, the MAPE agreement, sorry about that, and the AFSCME agreement all have provisions in it that if the board chooses to opt out, that we will reopen the position on healthcare benefits. So keep in mind, 152 does give the township 3 options. You could, for instance, say that you're going to go straight to an 80-20, meaning that the employees have to pay 20% of the cost. Because we have a wide variety of plans, though, we would have to negotiate with the union how that 20% is going to be allocated. in addition, if, for instance, if you're going to go the hard cap, and in this case, in the years past, we've opted out, but in actuality, we've complied with the hard cap because we were under it. You could do those things, but we would have to negotiate that. And I guess with the comments made by the union, there is no time requirements, because if there's modifications, just like if you'd have a modification in the collective bargaining agreement in the middle of a plan year, you just have a new open enrollment. So there's no deadline necessarily with the November 1 date. The more important thing is that I heard from several board members that they wanted to see where the numbers were relative to Public Act 152 prior to voting on this. So I wanted to get those and make sure I was presenting everybody with the appropriate information. But again, I want to be clear that no employee, no matter what the vote is tonight, none of the employees' benefits will change until such a time as the township negotiate with their respective union as to how those benefits will be affected. Is that, I know I went off a little bit on some stuff. Does that answer your question?
Well, kind of. Like I said, I have a tough time voting not to opt out of PA 152 because this is a tough time with employees. I have a tough time the way some of this is being presented, because I do not think the act says that. I think the act was brought forward to help townships in a tough time back in 2011, not only townships, but cities, municipalities in this time. And I just want to make sure everything is being presented right in the future. I know I don't have too many board meetings left. But I don't think that the way this is being presented, and I think Frank Cusimano actually testified to it in his comments eloquently. I think Section 5 says any contract agreement after, 2011 cannot supersede what PA 152 says. I
would agree with that 100%.
Okay, all right. But and as long as we're all voting on what we need to vote on tonight, I have problems with the way this is being presented. Like I said, I have a tough time not to opt out this year because it's tough, but the way everything's being presented tonight and the way I don't think collective bargaining can supersede this act. Like I said, I know my union can't do it. My union was pretty much at the we pretty much had to follow what our school board said. And they said, we're going to enact PA 152, and our union didn't have a choice. So I'm just having a tough time figuring out why it's being presented this way. But I think that's really my issue right now. Does that make sense?
Hey, absolutely. And to be clear, the board can pick any one of those three options. One of the things that's been that this is kind of developed into, which is great, is that by doing it this way this year, we've already started interest-based bargaining with all three of the unions. We had immediate and reasonable discussions about how we can look at these costs that fit with everyone's needs, rather than just telling employees, well, you're going to pay X number of dollars. We're going to have some open discussions about the best way maybe going forward. Nobody wants to hit anybody hard with anything at this point, but it's real good and a compliment to the unions involved in that respect. But I want to be clear.
I completely go ahead.
Sure. I want to be clear. The Public Act 152 sets the numbers that it establishes numbers each year that the employer can pay towards healthcare costs. How the township decides to deal with those, we have 4 categories of benefits and then times 3. So 4 categories for individual, 4 categories for an employee plus 1 family member, and 4 categories for family members. So we, you know, you have to negotiate how that number fits in those categories. And when I talk about negotiations, that's my only indication of what we would be negotiating.
So you would be negotiating hard cap versus 80/20, not if they had to pay anything or not pay anything. I just want the public to understand this, what PA 152 says when we opt out. If we enacted PA 152, that, I mean, to be honest, in that law, that our township could say, we are instituting a hard cap or 80/20. What do you mean interest-based bargaining? What?
Well, we're starting
Why
interest-based
are we
bargaining.
presenting it that way? And I wanted to, that's why I asked the question that no surrounding municipality or school district opts out of PA 152. I'm sorry, decides to, they all enact PA 152 because the legislature gives them the power to either put a hard cap or 80/20. There's really, as a township board, we can do either. So when we have elected to opt out, which I have too, I have made that vote. But if we enacted PA 152, it's not up to negotiations anymore. Correct? That's what I just want to make the public aware of what we're doing here.
Your selection under Public Act 152 is not a negotiable item. The state law says that you're allowed to do that. The way that the township implements the township selection is something that should be negotiated. For instance, if you choose an 80/20, the law says that the employer can only pay 80% of the total healthcare costs. The employees would pay 20. We would negotiate with the union as to how
Got
that
it.
20% will be. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I'm with you on that. Do you think in the future it would be a good idea to pull this out of the appropriations and the budget and just have this discussion just so the public's aware? Do you think that'd be a good idea going forward?
Yes, and that's what I recommended, going back to early June, that's what I recommended to the board. And, quite honestly, if you look at the state treasurers, that's why they give you individual resolutions as examples to use.
And I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank the board for this time. And I hope you respect, again, my authenticity coming from a union employee, a person who PA 152 has been enacted on, and God, for 7-8 years, which has been quite a bit of amount to my family. So I just really do appreciate the fact that this has been pulled out of the budget and separate discussion, but that will end my comments.
Anyone else have any questions?
Madam Chair, this is Clerk Posey. I would just like to stress in the meetings that we've had, which weren't very many, we've had about one to discuss this, with those that were able to. When talking with Mr. Authority, our HR director, as you see, he's recommending in the packet here that we opt out. And my question was, would it be in the best interest of the township at this given time, due to so many things that are affecting this, the delay in getting it on the agenda, open enrollment being so near. There was a lot of factors that played into this that's caused a lot of havoc, so to speak, in town hall with our employees. If this would in fact be in the best interest of the township at this time to opt out. And also being that all the contracts are up for renegotiation next year, we can make it a point to negotiate at that time in their contracts a way to offset the hard cap numbers, so to speak. So I just wanted to share that because not all board members obviously were involved in that conversation due to a quorum. Those were the recommendations and those were the things that were discussed at that time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is Trustee Busno. I just want to let everybody aware too, that this also impacts full-time elected officials. So if we choose to opt out of 152 or not opt out of 152, this also has an impact on elected full-time officials too. Thank you.
Anyone?
Madam Chair, thank you, Mr. Bussino, for the clarification. It affects everybody in Town Hall. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Clerk Posey. It affects me as a dues-paying union member. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Madam Chair, as I believe it is in the best interest of the township at this time, I would make a motion to opt out of Public Act 152
Motion
for
by Ms.
2021.
Goodhue,
I'll support that, Oliver.
supported by Mr. Oliver, to opt out of Public Act 152. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes,
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Bussino,
No.
Trustee Nevers,
No.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. That motion carries. Thank you, everyone, for all of your diligence in this regard.
Madam Chair, if I may, just so it's clear, a 2/3 vote was required, and that was a 5-2 vote, which would cover the 2/3 on the resolution.
Thank you. Now we have planning and zoning, and this is a final plan approval request for Elite Corporate Park. Mr. Box.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, Elite Corporate Park, located on the south side of 23 Mile west of Romeo Plank, is a light industrial development. You guys recently approved a amendment to a consent judgment for one of the units within this development to become a storage facility. This site plan is largely for the road development and how it would be accessed by the different units within the development. And it was passed unanimously by the Planning Commission.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions for Mr. Box?
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion, this is Nevers, to accept the Planning Commission recommendation and approve the final plan approval request for Elite Corporate Park located on the south side of 23 Mile Road, west of Romeo Plank Road, permanent parcel 08-20-100-018.
Motion by Ms. Nevers,
Support by Oliver.
seconded by Mr. Oliver to approve the final plan for Elite Corporate Park. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Supervisor. Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Bussino,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you. Under the fire department, there is a request to promote a probationary firefighter. Chief Phillips.
Madam Supervisor, members of the board, I'm requesting your approval this evening to promote probationary firefighter Benjamin Vachon to the position of paid on-call firefighter. Probationary firefighter Vachon has successfully completed his probation period and is recommended for probation by the Probationary Development Committee and myself. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Phillips?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Smith. I will make the motion to request to promote probationary firefighter Jim Bochan.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Supported by Nevers.
seconded by Ms. Nevers to approve this promotion. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Next, we have a request to approve emergency medical supplies agreement. Chief Phillips.
Madam Supervisor, members of the board, this past February, the Southeast Michigan Fire Chiefs Association formed the Southeast Michigan Emergency Medical Supplies Cooperative in an attempt to reduce the cost of medical supplies that are purchased on a regular basis. The cooperative sought bids through Mitten and awarded the bid to Boundtree Medical. As a member of the Southeast Michigan Fire Chiefs Association, we are eligible to be a member of the cooperative and purchase our medical supplies through Boundtree Medical at a savings. The purchasing specialist reviewed the provided confirmation that the recommendation of award to Boundtree Medical is in compliance with the purchasing policy, and I'm therefore requesting your approval for the supervisor to sign the emergency medical supplies agreement. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. I do have one question, if you don't mind. We haven't done this before, have we?
No, we have not. It's just something new this year in an effort to try to save the fire department's money for their medical supplies that are purchased.
Okay, I didn't remember it from before, but the very good thing. Anybody else have any questions for Chief Phillips?
Madam Chair, this is Karen Goodhue. I'll make a motion to approve the emergency medical supplies agreement and have the supervisor sign as such.
Motion by Ms. Goodhue,
Support by
Nevers.
supported by Nevers, to approve the emergency medical supplies agreement. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes. And Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Next, from the supervisor's office, we have approval of the 2020 dress code policy. Mr. Sordy.
Madam Chair and members of the board, I did earlier this year revise many of our policies. I took our current dress policy, tried to keep it as consistent as we could with the with our past policy, because I did not receive any indication that there were any major problems. But with that, that was presented. After that time, the deputy supervisor gathered information from employees and comments from employees that wanted to remain anonymous, and she made revisions to the policy, and that's what's in front of you tonight.
Thank you. Any questions? Anybody else?
Madam Chair, this is Treasurer Goodhue. I just want to make a statement. I read over the policy and I am in disagreement with the leggings and tights with a long shirt, as well as the mule. I don't believe that that is a professional look, in my opinion.
Very well. Anyone else? Are there any motions?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion. This is Clerk Posey, to authorize the supervisor to approve the dress, or to approve the 2020 dress policy.
Motion by Ms. Posey,
Supported by
Oliver
Smith.
support.
supported by Mr. Oliver, to approve the dress policy. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Clerk Posey, yes. Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
I'd just like to say that I'm in agreement with Ms. Goodhue on the leggings. does that mean if I disagree with that, that I do not vote yes? I'm unclear. Okay, I guess I vote no.
I think someone else. I, is, are you finished, Ms. Posey, with the roll?
No, I was waiting for Ms. Nevers to cast her vote. I'll move on to
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
treasurer Goodhue,
No.
and supervisor Dunn.
Yes. I believe that motion carries. Next, we have Chippewa Valley Coalition for Youth and Families Red Ribbon National Substance Abuse Prevention Month. This request has been before you several years in a row. The coalition has received awards and grants for their continuous work in regards to drugs and drug-related activities. At this time, I would ask that you approve this resolution, which is just declaring October National Substance Abuse Prevention Month. Thank you. Any questions? Any motions?
Madam Chair, I would like to make the motion to approve the resolution and name October Substance Abuse Prevention Month in cooperation with Chippewa Valley Schools.
I believe that was Ms. Nevers.
Yes, I'm sorry, Nevers.
Motion by Ms. Nevers,
Supported by trustee Smith.
supported by Ms. Smith to adopt this resolution. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
trustee Bucino,
Yes.
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
clerk Posey, yes, supervisor Dunn.
Yes, this resolution is adopted. Next, we have general counsel, and this is about Heritage of Macomb consent judgment. Mr. Assorti.
Madam Chair, members of the board, this is a request with the planning department on a revision to a consent judgment. There's really not much on my end because there's no language requirement or language request to a modification of the May 4th, 2006 consent judgment. It involves, as you can see in your board packet, a bunch of, or several revisions to the drawing that's attached. And I believe Mr. Box can probably answer those questions if you have any relative to that issue. But with that, we're asking for a motion to approve the execution of the of a modified consent judgment.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board about this consent judgment? Any comments, questions, or motions?
Madam Chair, this is Treasurer Goodhue. I'll make a motion to approve the modified consent judgment for Heritage of Macomb.
Motion by Ms. Goodhue,
Support by Nevers.
seconded by Ms. Nevers to approve the modified consent judgment. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
trustee Nevers,
Yes.
trustee Bucino,
Yes.
trustee Oliver,
Yes.
trustee Smith,
Yes.
clerk Posey, yes, supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. The clerk's office has a request for a charitable gaming license for Michigan Faith in the Fight. Ms. Posey.
Yes, Madam Chair. The township is in receipt of paperwork from Michigan Faith and Fight requesting that the township board adopt a resolution in support of their organization. This is a registered nonprofit group that provides support to cancer patients and their families. They have provided all the necessary paperwork, and there's nothing that would prohibit the township from adopting this resolution. A copy of all the relevant paperwork is included in the packet for the board's review, and I am recommending approval of the charitable gaming license for the Michigan Faith in the Fight organization.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Posey? Are there any motions?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Smith. I'll make the motion to request a charitable gaming license for the Michigan Faith in the Fight.
Thank you. Motion by Ms. Smith,
Supported
Supported
by
by
Nevers.
Goodhue.
seconded by Ms. Geffers to approve the request. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Trustee Bussino,
Yes.
Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Next is the add-on, and it is hazard pay for the November 3rd, 2020 election officials. Ms. Posey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Dear members of the board, the Macomb Township Clerk's Department, along with the 400-plus temps and election workers, have maintained their commitment to making sure every vote counts during the COVID-19 pandemic. Given elections must go on during an election year, election workers may have increased exposure to the COVID-19 virus, although every precautionary measure is being taken. Macomb Township has received the CTCL COVID-19 response grant to be used exclusively for the public purpose of planning and operationalizing safe and secure election administration. The grant allows for an additional hazard pay in the amount of $100 to each election official that assists with the administration of the presidential general election on November 3rd, 2020. I am extremely grateful to all those who have continued to serve during this unusual time and would like to recommend that the board approve this as it's covered by the grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, Madam Chair, I don't have a question. This is just Trustee Bussino. I just have a comment. I just want to 100% support this. Every election official that is ensuring that our elections go forward, as the clerk said, I appreciate as somebody who teaches government law. It's a really tough thing to do, and I think this is great assurance that hopefully we don't lose an election official because of this, but I think this is a good thing for us to do. And again, it's just a comment, and I appreciate everybody that's doing everything they can to make our election a success. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any motions?
Madam Chair, this is Trustee Oliver.
Yes.
I'll make that motion for the hazard pay, being that this is from a grant. And I agree with Tim. Everyone works so hard on these elections. So I'd make that motion.
Thank you. Motion by Mr. Oliver,
Support by Trustee Smith.
supported by Ms. Smith to approve the hazard pay for election officials. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bussino,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have board comments. We will start off with the trustees. Mr. Buzzino, you're first this evening.
Yes, Madam Chair. The only thing I want to say tonight, and I'm struggling to exactly with how to say this, but Macomb Township lost a good man. We lost a firefighter, and it's somebody who gave me guidance as far as a lot of stuff that was happening in the township. And I just want to let his family know I'm thinking of him. And again, I appreciate anybody who gives their time and service to their township. And again, I'm struggling with exactly what to say, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about, and his family's in our prayers.
Thank you. Ms. Nevers.
Yes, Madam Chair, I too would like to offer my condolences to the O'Lear family on the loss of this renowned firefighter. And perhaps this is an issue whose time has come. Maybe we ought to look at hazard pay for our wonderful sheriffs that patrol the township as well. Just a thought. Thank you. That's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Smith.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a comment that I had the opportunity to participate in the spectacular stroll on Friday at Macomb Corners. It ended up being a beautiful night. Social distancing was handled extremely well by everyone, and everyone had a wonderful time. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank our Parks and Rec Director, Michelle Duda, and the amazing employees there that made sure this event went over huge. It was a great success. Thank you. And I also would like to send my deepest condolences to the O'Lear family.
Thank you. Mr. Oliver.
Yes, a couple things. One, my sympathy to the O'Lear family. Mike and me go back a long time. And when I was on the board, he was a firefighter, and always enjoyed working with him. And just a note, Mr. O'Lear was the first person that approached the board for exercise equipment, and that was important to him. And so we lost a good firefighter and a good community member. Next, I'd like to thank the Macomb Township Fire Department for a quick response. We had an incident by our house on North Avenue. There was a gas leak. They arrived almost immediately after the 911 call come. They worked with the Sheriff's Department, got the road closed. Then they worked with the gas company and stood by while they did the repairs. A relief valve broke, and it actually did its job. And they kept the community safe, and I want to thank them for that. Next, as the Planning Commission liaison, I'd like to mention to the township, we're holding a series of virtual open house in October regarding the master plan. The next meeting is Wednesday night. That would be this Wednesday at 7 p.m. There will be a short presentation followed by questions and answers. The topic Wednesday will be recreation, trails, and mobility. We encourage the residents for any input. So please join in if you got any questions on that. It's on Zoom. It's all on our website. You'll be able to find out anything you need to know. But this Wednesday is the recreation, trails, mobility. The other thing I like to do is I'd like to thank the planning director, Jim Van Tippelen, and Crystal Kozak for their excellent leadership in moving forward on the master plan and involving the community in such a creative way. There's also a survey the residents can take and a photo contest to participate in. There are 6 areas in which you can submit a picture. There'll be an award for second place, first place in each category. One is daily life, the other one is recreation, community pride, history of the township facilities, and local businesses. That is all in the pictures, in the photos. The first prize is a $50 gift certificate to a local Macomb Township business. Second prize is a pass for a family of 4 to the Macomb Township Recreation Center. Any additional information you need to know, please go on our website. It is www.cultivatemacomb.com. to enter and complete the survey, you can register in advance to the virtual open house. Thank you. Again, and last thing, we had a great time at the Spectacular. It was a great event. I want to thank everyone at Park and Recs for putting it on. It worked out really nice. And that's it.
Thank you. Treasurer's comments, Ms. Goodhue.
Yes, I feel like I'm always the bearer of bad news, but I want to give the residents a heads up that any water and sewer bill that is 30 days past due will be transferred to the tax bill at the end of October and with a 15% penalty. So if you cannot pay the whole bill, we do accept partial payments. At least you won't have as large of a penalty, but the delinquent water bills will be transferred to taxes, the winter tax bill at the end of October. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk's comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to start off by thanking the board for approving the hazard pay for the election officials. Although it's not a ton, but every little bit helps and encourages those to come out during this unusual time and still assist us with the administration of the election. We can't do it without them, so I am extremely appreciative. I applied for the grant and I was extremely excited when we were awarded the grant, and I'm extremely appreciative to be able to offer that to all the people that are working with us on that day. Ms. Nevers, I just wanted to comment, I agree with you on the hazardous pay for the sheriff. However, the county handles hazard pay for the sheriff deputies, just so you know. I just want to clarify some confusion and questions that we are getting daily, sometimes hourly in the clerk's department about in-person voting. If you would like to vote in person, however, don't want to wait in line potentially at the polls or want to avoid a crowd at the polling locations, you can vote in person at the clerk's department. You just come to our counters. We can issue your ballot. We have polling booths set up, social distancing, and you return your ballot to the clerk's department. However, we do not tabulate it until election day, but it is a safe way to vote in person should you wish to choose that method. If you have received an absent voter mail-in ballot, but have changed your mind and now wish to vote in person at your polling location, you can do so. However, you are required to surrender your ballot to the election worker at the precinct. So if you've changed your mind, please remember to bring your ballot. It expedites the process when you get to the polling location, and the election workers will assist you through the process. Just bring the ballot. You can still vote if you don't have the ballot, but it does require you to complete an affidavit and sign it, which would delay your process at the polling location. You can request a ballot to be mailed to you up until 5:00 p.m. on Friday, October 30th. Keep in mind the clerk's office will have extended hours the week prior to the election to assist you with your voting needs. If you have an absent voter ballot, please return it to my office or to one of our drop boxes as soon as possible. We have a ballot drop box at the Senior Center in front of Town Hall near the flagpoles, and we've just added a new drop box location at Fire Station 3, located off North Avenue between 21 and 22 Mile Road. All drop boxes are secured and under surveillance. As of today, we have issued close to 30,000 absentee mail-in ballots and have received back 17,053. Today alone, we received 2,000 ballots between the mail and our drop boxes. So there is a lot of voting going on. If we can assist you in any way to make your experience the best possible, please contact my office and we can help you in many different ways. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. On the supervisor's comments, the recycling of the electronics and the shredding of paper that was held on Saturday, October 3rd, was again a success. The event went very well. There were 430 carts of stuff that was either shredded or recycled. From the vendor, I got a message that everything went fine, no issues, and everyone was safe. As far as our firefighters go, firefighter Warner again completed his 140-mile walk to the area roughly of Grand Rapids. I spoke to him on Friday, and he said he's in much better shape than he was last year at this time. So please support our firefighters. As far as firefighter O'Lear, the only thing left to say about him was he was a good guy, and he really was. The other thing I have is having numerous calls from residents. The township issues the following on Halloween trick-or-treating. Halloween will be celebrated on October 31st. Macomb Township does not set off sirens for beginning and ending times for trick-or-treating. That is Shelby Township sirens you are hearing. Trick-or-treating has no set times, but is in support of each individual family setting their own times per the parents' schedules. Please be sure to monitor the safety of your child's costume, the trick-or-treat bags, the goodies inside, and be sure to be respectful of your neighbor's property. Happy Halloween, everyone. That concludes the business for this evening. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair, this is Charlie Oliver. I got one quick thing I think I said this wrong. To go to our Macomb Township Master Plan is cultivatemacomb.com. And the reason why I would like a lot of people to get involved with this and help us out on this. And that's it.
Thank you.
And I'll have a motion to adjourn. Thank you.
Are you making a motion to adjourn?
I did.
Motion by
Yes, I did.
Mr. Oliver.
Supported by Smith.
Seconded by Ms. Smith to adjourn. Ms. Posey, would you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Chair. Trustee Oliver,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Bucino,
Yes.
Trustee Nevers,
Yes.
Treasurer Goodhue,
Yes.
Clerk Posey, yes, Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Motion carries and we are adjourned.